Hello and welcome back to the Celebrity Almanac channel. I'm Ed Lewis and I'm the creator and author of the Celebrity Almanac and your host on this channel. Now, as you can see, I have this wonderful photo of Paul Newman. And this photo is a publicity photo from 1958 when Paul was like 33 or 34 years old. And the reason I have this showing is today I'm going to do a movie review on Cool Hand Luke. So let's get started. Cool Hand Luke was a movie that came out in 1967. And I want to read you some of the actors and their characters in the Cool Hand Luke. Of course, Luke was Paul Newman. His nickname was Dragline, and that was George Kennedy. And a little trivia here, the only Academy Award that Cool Hand Luke won as a movie was George Kennedy as supporting actor. Now, he deserved it. He did a wonderful acting role in Cool Hand Luke, but also Paul Newman was nominated that year for Best Actor, but he didn't win the Academy Award. Only George Kennedy did. And that must have been a bitter pill to swallow for Paul Newman, because he certainly deserved the Oscar that year. Another character that stood out in the movie was Strother Martin. And Strother was the captain or the warden of the prison camp that Paul Newman, Luke, ends up at. And I'll talk a little bit more about Strother Martin in a minute. Morgan Woodward. I love Morgan. He was in many of the Westerns in the 1950s. He just rotated from one Western to another and was a very interesting character every time. But Morgan Woodward played the walking boss. And he was famous because he had these reflective sunglasses and you never could see his eyes. And he had no dialogue or hardly any dialogue. It was just that menacing look that he had with those sunglasses on, carrying that rifle. So if any of the people got out of control, he had a rifle to back him up. And so he was quite a menacing character in Cool Hand Luke. Another early actor in the movie in his career was Wayne Rogers. And his nickname was Gambler. And he could acquire things that you needed as long as you had some money or some cigarettes to trade. And of course, Wayne Rogers went on to fame in the television show MASH. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit now about the scenario. Cool Hand Luke, he's a very rebellious guy, and he doesn't like to take orders, and he doesn't like to conform. And of course, that doesn't set well with the captain, Strother Martin. And so as I mentioned in a previous video with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, when Jack Nicholson had his issues with Nurse Ratched, well, likewise in this movie, the same type of scenario developed, and that was Cool Hand Luke and the captain trying to maintain control of this prison camp. And this prison camp was in Florida. And one of the things that they often had to do was a chain gang, a road gang. They had to go out and pave roads and cut down weeds. And it was just a terrible way to spend your life in a prison camp, out in the hot sun trying to pave roads and cut down weeds and all of those things. But anyway, Paul Newman is a rebellious guy, and he gets drunk one night and he starts cutting off the heads of parking meters. And that's what gets him incarcerated in this Florida prison camp. And he gets a 2-year sentence. Well, as the plot would thicken, when he comes to the prison camp, he becomes sort of a vicarious leader. All of the other inmates like to follow what he's doing, and they see how rebellious he is. And the gist of the movie is that Paul Newman escapes from this prison camp 3 times using various techniques that he developed as far as looking like he's complying and not complying and getting away. So it's quite adventurous when he does escape and they try to catch him. And unfortunately, every time they catch him, and when they do and they bring him back to the prison camp, everything that the captain can do to make his life miserable and to break his spirit, he does. So each time he escapes, the punishment is even more severe for Cool Hand Luke. Anyway, I won't give away the end of the title, but I will say this, that in 1987, in the movie Color of Money, Paul Newman finally won his one and only Best Actor Academy Award, and that was for The Color of Money in 1987. And my feeling is, and Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, he could have won easily, him and Robert Redford. So kudos to Paul Newman for sticking it out, and he was just a wonderful guy. And unfortunately, he did pass away from, I believe it was lung cancer. So that's my review of Cool Hand Luke. It's a classic. If you haven't seen it in a while, you really need to tune it in and check it out again, because the performances, especially by Strother Martin as the captain, Cool Hand Luke as the rebellious inmate, and George Kennedy as his sidekick, are truly performances to remember. So, by the way, don't forget to subscribe. You know, that's free. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, and hit the like button. And of course, if you want to be notified about any new content that I put up, hit that notification button. I highly recommend 5 stars, Cool Hand Luke. Thank you.